Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk, and welcome back. I'm in my 40T, the Lorraine, bottom tier in a 357 on Sand River, spawned in to the east side. You can see I'm gone up to the north. Hey, let's talk about support tanks, or the supporting role, because I don't really believe there are support tanks. I think the role that you play in your tank is dependent on what's going on in the battle in that match, what the map is, what your position is, and all those things. I don't think you go into a match going, I'm a support tank, that is what this tank does, or I'm a sniper, or whatever. Probably the only class where you would say that going right in from the very beginning would be artillery, because it has a fairly specific role and doesn't do anything else very well. Most other tanks can flex as required to either be the assault, the tip of the spear, be a supporting tank, be a sniper, depending on the situation. Let's talk about the support piece, because I'm in a medium bottom tier in a 357. So you are going to have more of a support mentality, or if you want to frame it differently, call it a careful mentality, where you're going to support other tanks that are with you. You see I've got a good crowd coming up here, and while I have in my mind that I'm going to be more of a supporting role, I am up front looking for shots. And that's one of the key differences between people who believe that, well, support means I sit in the back. So in this case, I would be like hanging out back here, letting the T-54 go up and maybe poke up. Well, I've taken a good position. This tank is nice and speedy, but I am also cognizant that I'm bottom tier, and if I run into too much, I'm going to get out of here. But you can see that right off the bat, this guy's not even paying attention, and I'm able to put some free shots into the bat chat. T-54 is still there as well, so we're going to come up and see if we can work on the bat chat. Killing him would be a good deal for the team, and so we'll just chase him, and that is more of a tip of the spear assault kind of idea. Indian Panzer gets in there, and now I've got to get out of there, right? So I understand that my situation is bad if I'm on the middle of a reload, and I can't go piling in there and shooting people in the face, but we've done a pretty good job of whittling down the bat chat. Unfortunately, the 54 was a little over-aggressive, so while you would say I supported him, I wasn't able to save him. There just wasn't enough tanks up there. He got in there just a little too fast. Now, that's a good position to go. Unfortunately, the enemy team actually invested quite a few guys up here real fast, and that's somewhat unusual, but you've got to be ready and willing to react. I missed that Patton right there, and I can't track him like I want to. I take 2 shots, and now what I'm looking for is to get in here with my last 2 shots and help this Conqueror in a supporting role get in here and put shots on the Patton. Unfortunately, I get hit by my buddy in the back. We get RD'd, or at least he does. I bounced a shot, put one in, and now I've got to get back and hide and avoid getting thumped by either artillery or long-range TDs who can see me. So I'll just head off this way. So there you go. That's more of a supporting role, and it's an active supporting role. It's not as simply hiding behind everybody in the other guy's tank. It's coming in when I've got the opportunity to put my shots downrange, keeping my gun in the battle as well as possible, managing, in the case of an autoloader, the auto-loading as far as when I'm going to start a new clip. In this case, I basically fired all my shots before I had to start a new clip, but that's because I was active in an active supporting kind of role. And now I'm flexing. Now I'm getting down here. I need to push forward and see if we can get shots on these guys. We got a good lead. We've won the north, so we need to get the north guns into the fight. Bat chat is buggered off to somewhere. Plus, really, at this point, with 1,700 damage and the big lead that we've got, it's also time to start thinking about, you know what, that supporting role thing, screw that. It's time to go gobble up hit points. I'm going to go in here, get aggressive, start looking for hit points, which is essentially what everybody else is doing right there. And again, it just kind of puts the lie to that I'm a support tank. Well, no, at this point, you're just looking to get some hit points. Get in there, get aggressive. You've got some hit points to give. Not too many. I mean, I've got 932. Still easy with the guns that are in the game and the tanks to get waxed without doing any more damage. But I've got to get forward here, find some hit points, and find some shots. So the AX gets hurt, coming in here looking for a shot on him. I've got some guys up on the left there, the Uds, and I think a WT hanging out up there. So again, dangerous tanks. Down goes the AX. I don't have to worry about it. I do know that there's a 75 lurking around in the middle here too, and there he is, so he's a problem. I've kind of already committed, so I'm going to cross over here and see if we can't get some shots on his back while he's not paying attention. There's 1, there's 2. Maybe a little over aggressive because I ate a shot from him. Probably should have just taken 2 shots, clipped, and hit. And I've sort of put myself in a bad position here because I can't go back. I'll get hammered by the 705, and I know there's at least one, not artillery, but TD left up there. The Uds died, but the WT is sitting there. And if he ends up seeing me, I don't even know if he's paying attention to me or can't see me. I'm not sure if I'm really hidden this bush. So I come forward because the 705 just died, and I want to cover up with that little rock that's in his way. That way he can't shoot me. And I know the WZ's coming up there going after him, and we're going to come here. I'm not going to get any more shots, unfortunately. Probably should have just shot on the run. With 2,709, no kills, bottom tier. So I didn't really burn the place down or make the greatest game ever. But it's just a good example of what I talk about, where your tank and your class don't determine your role. They simply do not. They may determine what your tank is more suited for. But again, it is all situational and dependent on what part of the battle you're in, the map you're on, where you're on the map, what the situation is in the battle, what's going on tactically around you. Those are the decisions that say, well, I need to snipe, or I need to assault, or I need to turtle up and defend. Some tanks do better at parts of those than others, but you may find yourself forced into that no matter what the tank is that you're driving. And as long as you understand those strengths and you can work around it, then that makes the use of that tank in that role better. And when you have to flex to another role, because you are more apt to do so, because you're not so hidebound in my tank's a sniper and I will always snipe, then you're able to gobble up more hit points, right? So I mean, I didn't really burn the place down, but I was always around hit points. I was always moving towards them, and I managed 2,709, which is a pretty good game for a lot of people. And if you're averaging 2,700 in your tier 8s, which I'm not saying I am, a little bit lower than that, but if you're averaging or doing that a considerable amount of time, then you're going to be doing well in the game. So just think about that. Try not to think about your tank or class having certain roles. Try to think about it having a strength in that role, but being ready to flex to others. All right, thanks guys. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. And as always, we will see ya.